Welcome to the Badass Babe Manifest podcast. The vibe here is how to manifest in a simple and fun way, implementing my abundance DNA method without the bullshit, overcomplicated hacks or fluff. I'm your host, Kelly Pender, your spiritual manifestation coach, and together we're going to uncover your unique abundance frequency, step into who the fuck you are unapologetically, and remove the limitation caps as well as playing it small to open yourself the F up to the unlimited abundance, success, and money to easily flow into your life and or business. Let's manifest that shit. Hello, my love. Welcome back to another episode of the Badass Babe Manifest podcast. This one, you are going to fucking love this episode. I know you are, because I know you love astrology and all things that have to do with exploring you on a deeper level to tap into who the fuck you are and who you came here to be, aka making an even greater impact on the world. And so on this episode, I have Jenna Maria on the pod, who is an astrologer for business owners. And we dive into cracking the code on what makes content go viral. She shares with you how to make your content go viral, what to look at in your chart to deepen your brand voice, to make even more potent, powerful content. And we dive into the psychology behind content. I know you are absolutely going to love this episode, as I've loved every second of having her on and diving into the juice. And before we dive into the episode, I wanted to invite you into the 7-day Rewire Yourself Rich Challenge. We just kicked off this week and we are having so many breakthroughs and shifts. The women inside are like, holy fuck, this challenge is so good. I'm so happy I got myself in here. And let me tell you, if you've been doing all of the things, all the affirmations, the journaling, the shadow work, the inner child work, the overcomplicated manifestation methods, trying to meditate for however many hours a day, and you're like, I'm done with this, I'm done with more work, good, because I'm not going to give you more work to do. We just simply get to rewire your subconscious so that you see more money, abundance, unlimited possibilities in your life with ease. And I'm teaching you the exact method, components, and science-backed techniques I personally use that allowed me to have a 7K week and consistent 10 to 15K months. And I'm teaching you these exact components, science-backed techniques where 10, 20, 50K plus months are going to become your norm, where it feels like a post-massage high on your nervous system. I'm popping that link in the show notes. Do yourself a favor and get inside. We are going to massively change your life, massively upgrade your money beliefs in a really simple, easeful way. Trust me, I've tried all the fucking manifestation methods and hacks and bullshit and fluff. We don't do that in my world. We're backed by science. We're going to rewire yourself rich in 7 days to 7x your income. That link is in the show notes, or you can DM me the word rewire to get inside. All right, without further ado, let's dive into this potent, powerful, badass episode with Jenna. Yay! All right, Jenna, I'm so excited. This is gonna be the most epic podcast because, you guys, for those who are listening, I was recently on Instagram and you and I connected from a course that we're in. And I'm like, this girl's fucking real. Needs to be a podcast episode. I need her on the pod right now. And I literally slid into your DMs and here we are. So welcome. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Like, there's nothing else I'd rather talk about for days than astrology plus psychology and business, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So as you guys know, I love astrology. I love basically learning anything and all things about myself because as a Leo, that's who I am. But we just like that as humans. We get to know ourselves on a deeper level, to know how to more authentically express ourselves, right? And speak to the right people. So I would love to first dive into how you became an astrologer and how you started weaving that into your business and into content creation and everything that you speak about now with psychology behind content and astrology.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I like you start very general in your business and then you just go more niche and niche and niche. So
Mhm.
originally in my business, I started as a life coach because I have a master's in psychology, but then during the pandemic, I got pregnant with my daughter
Mm.
and I was like, hell no, I am not going to a corporate job. I'm not going to go sit at a clinic.
Yeah.
I I'm gonna do my own thing. So I was like, okay, we're starting this internet online coaching thing, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
So I was just a life coach. I was like, I'll help anyone.
Hmm.
And it started off great. Like I started getting clients pretty quickly. But then I realized that I really enjoy helping business owners the most. So I niched down on into business owners, and I started teaching business owners how to set up their own businesses online and get their first clients. And then we introduced the astrology piece to it because I realized like, okay, I cannot stop talking about astrology with each one of my clients.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be one of the main things in my business. And my own journey with astrology, it goes, I think I was like, oh my gosh, I think I was like 22, one of those dark nights of the soul.
Hmm.
I was just Googling online and I read something about astrology, and I had never felt so seen. Like I've always been very intuitive. I'm a Pisces, lots of Pisces placements, lots of Scorpio placements. I've always been very, very intuitive, and I could see things in people that I could not put words to. Like I could, when someone is in front of me, I know what they're feeling. Even they don't even have to say it. I can empathize with everyone really well. I understand different types of people very well, and I
Hmm.
never really had the words to it. And then when astrology came to the picture, I'm like, wow, I finally have the language to explain what I seen in people,
Yeah.
not in a way that it categorizes like you're this and this and this, but no, like, hey, did you know that you actually have this skill that other people don't? Like, this is something that you do better than 99% of the people.
Mm.
And I feel like that's also what gives me a lot of strengths in business because I can look at the chart and I can right away see like, hey, you have, let's say you're a rising sign like Kelly. We have Kelly's chart here. She's a Virgo rising. So for her brand, it is going to be extremely aligned to be like brutally honest, like you are in your content, like, hey, girl, this if you're still doing the whatever the 369 scripting method,
The bullshit.
there's some new science we have on the issue. Like Virgo rising, it's like slashing, super discerning. Like you're here to a big part of your brand when people arrive to your space is to give like the truth of the matter. So that's what I love about astrology is that it gives me sort of words and like everything, all the concepts, how I can explain to people like, hey, this is your brand vibe, this is your brand voice, this is the brand message that you're here to put into the world. This is what your dream client wants. Like it's
Mm.
literally all there.
Oh, so good. It's so good because I feel like for me personally on my business journey, it felt so unknown. Like, what is my brand voice? What is my brand vibe for so many years? And I think like this, well, I know when I came into your work, I was like, oh my God, you're speaking to my soul, talk to me. Right. But there's something when you just go deeper and learn about yourself, it's like, it's things you knew a little bit. It's just maybe we were afraid to fully embrace those parts of ourselves, right? Like what makes us unique? What makes us bold? What makes us disrupt the industry? What makes us stand out, right? So I love this. Um, and yeah, I'd love to learn more about the psychology behind the content. I'm like, I could just talk psychology all day.
Okay, let's talk about it. Everyone wants to reach more people. Everyone comes to me and they're like, Jenna, I want more people to engage with my content. I want to go viral. And recently I like finally reached the tipping point and had a couple of reels go viral. And by the way, viral, guys, it doesn't mean that you get millions of views. It just means, let's say you get 100 times the views and 1,000 times the views that you normally would get. So it just
Yeah.
spreads abnormally quickly. And I reached the tipping point for myself, and I know exactly what I did for that to happen. So a lot of people come to me and they're like, okay, I want more followers that engage with my content. And then I ask them, are you willing to look at your own content and zoom
Mm.
out and be like, would I click save? Would I click like? Would I click share? Because the main measure for going viral is the shares when people
Mhm.
share it to other people, like spreading like a virus. Duh, what a concept.
Yeah.
Um, Also, like a lot of people in the online industry, especially with the people I work with, are a lot of like healers, teachers, guides, and mentors. So on, very like conscious individuals,
Hmm.
people who teach concepts related to self-awareness, but then they have no absolute self-awareness. I used to be in this, like I
Yes.
used to do the same. Then they have no absolutely no self-awareness when it comes to content. It's like, okay, would you share this post in your stories? Would you share this post to your friends? And
Hmm.
then when you kind of take yourself out of the equation, that it's not about you anymore,
Mm.
that's when you start making relatable, funny, intelligent, quirky, bold, expressive content. Because essentially, what makes people share content is that it's relatable in a way. They want to share it to a
Yes.
friend or to their story. So with astrology, I started looking at it in a way like, okay, I looked at the stuff that was going viral under astrology, and I was like, okay, this is a lot of like astrology humor. And I have a moon in Leo. You're a Leo. That's probably
Hmm.
why we click. That's
Yeah.
that's that's why we connect. Um, I have a moon in Leo, so I love humor and making things light and bringing levity into things and like bold and fun and playful. So I was like, okay, I think I need to share my humorous side. And then I went on this like internal, like I had to do this internal work. Like, am I funny enough? Like, is this
Hmm.
entertaining enough? Like, what if I just embarrass myself? Like, it's really deep work
Yeah.
before you go viral. A lot of people, they just want to go viral, but they are not willing to look at themselves and be like, hey, am I just asking for likes, shares, and follows without actually giving anything or being vulnerable?
Mm.
Does it
Yes.
make sense?
Yes. As soon as you said that, I just got tingles on my head. I was like, everyone needed to hear that. I love that so much because it's not just like, okay, this is how I feel with going viral. And this is how I used to feel. It was like, oh my God, I need all these views. I need all these likes. But it's like, but why? Why? Can you go past that surface level and go a little bit deeper and see what it's really all about? I love that. But be willing to look at yourself. Be willing
Hmm.
to look at
Like
yourself.
self-awareness. What a
Yes.
what a concept. Self-awareness.
Who would have thunk? That's so funny. Yes. Okay. So be willing to look at yourself, right? It's not all about you. What else? What else? Psychology
Like
behind.
it's truly this is what I also want to say. It's truly because I know it was probably in that post after you saw it and you messaged me. I think I said in it that it's not rocket science. The
Yes.
roadmap is literally in front of you. Like go look around a little bit and see what goes viral. Imitate, don't copy, imitate, and then you
Mhm.
when you get the hang of it, kind of like, oh, okay, so this is what people share. And when you get into the groove of making content that gets more views and reaches more people, then you can start to innovate more because I see creating content as this like with any skill, like it's literally just a skill. People think it's rocket science, but it's a
Mhm.
skill.
Yep.
Marketing, branding, business, it's a skill. I used to tell myself, I'm terrible at branding, I'm terrible at
Yes.
marketing. And then I had to switch the mindset to no, this is just a skill that I need to learn
Yep.
to help more people.
Mm.
And it got like 100 times easier right away. So it's the same,
Yes.
like if you want to reach more people, if you want to make viral good content, well, that's the thing. It needs to be good. Like people
Hmm.
are not willing to acknowledge like, hey, maybe my content actually sucks. Like I had to.
Oh my God, me too. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to be like, oh, my content's shitty. But it's like, why is it shitty? Why does it suck? Oh, maybe because I'm not going all in. Maybe because I'm letting fear get in my way. Maybe because I'm not allowing myself to know what's going on. That makes me more bold and unique, right? So
Yeah.
understanding the psychology behind it and understanding like astrology on a deeper level helps you to understand yourself to then have fun with
Yeah.
creating content.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think when I started learning about my chart, I took this one program. Shout out to Oath Oracle. She has taught me most of the astrology that I know about.
Hmm.
And I took her program and she taught me to look at the lens of look at business through the lens of astrology. Like before that, I was just good
Hmm.
at reading charts, but I didn't quite understand how these placements relate to relate to business. And then I, of course, now at this point, I've read hundreds of charts and I kind of see the connections really, really well myself as well.
Hmm.
And when I like before my brand and my Instagram and my feed, it was like this light, I think it was like purple and pink and really like light and airy vibes. And then
Yes.
I discovered in my chart that I'm a Scorpio rising. Like that's an intense, mysterious,
Mhm.
dark vibe. So why am I trying to put this like light, fluffy, colorful, bright, love and light kind of vibe
Yes.
online when that is not me? And then I again had to go through the internal work of like, if I'm too dark, will people resonate with it or
Yep.
will it be off-putting and will it be too mysterious? But of course, the opposite happened, and I started attracting the right kind of clients for me because, like, content for me and Instagram and branding, it goes so deep. It's not just like let's pick colors and all of that. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's self-expression, and I've always been a very like intense person, and I like to go very deep very quickly. Like I don't do small talk.
Hmm.
So the type of client, if you have like a light, fluffy pink Instagram feed, it might attract a type of client who just wants to feel happy and light.
Yes.
However, if your aesthetic is mysterious, it's dark, it's a little bit enigmatic, it will attract the type of client who feels inside that there's a lot of shadow, there's a lot of mystery that they want to unpack, but they quite don't know how to do it. And then
Hmm.
they're attracted to my world. They're like, oh, I feel like
Hmm.
she like it doesn't go on in a conscious level. They just see something and they're like, I feel like this just speaks to my soul. And
Yeah.
then they message you and then you end up working together.
Yes. Ooh, I love that you said that. And it's funny because my brand before was very pink, very like, like flowery and just like not me at all. But I was afraid to have my bold, like cheetah, leopard, hot pink, smoke, like side. I was so scared to use the color black. Like
Mm.
that was a color that I was like, black is so dark and deep and shadowy. And maybe it's just exactly like you said, going to repel people. The moment I switched it and like just allowed myself to go to what I wanted, everything changed. So weird. But it wasn't just the colors.
Of course not.
It wasn't just the colors, it was the beliefs and the identity behind it. So tell us, like, anything that we need to know about our astrology placements to help us understand ourselves on a deeper level to really go deeper into our self-expression, our brand voice, create bold ass like viral content, whatever. Tell us everything that we need to know.
We just want to go viral. Well, first of all, integrate what we talked before. Like that's the most important part. Like, why do you want
Yeah.
to go viral? Like what do you expect that comes out of it? And when you've sat with that for a moment, then we're going to talk about the astrology and how to make the content and all of that. But in any case, it's always the whole chart, of course, because
Mhm.
you are the living, breathing embodiment of this chart. So everything matters and everything weighs into the equation. But when it comes to, let's talk about content and brand voice specifically, because here's the
Yes.
thing. You can have the hook, the trending audio, the looping video, whatever, and the thing does not, the hashtags, and the thing does not go viral. Well, that's probably because there was nothing unique in it.
Mm.
So one of the most, I think, clever ways to infuse your own unique voice into your content is by understanding your Mercury placement. Now,
Okay.
Mercury is the planet of communication and thinking. It also rules commerce, very quick, witty, clever energy. Mercury, the planet, also rules Virgo and Gemini. And just a quick, like super quick astro basics lesson. If you are a Virgo rising, the planet Mercury is the ruler of your whole chart because the planet that rules your rising sign, it is actually the ruler of your whole chart. So for
Interesting.
you, oh my God, you're like, for
What?
me, this is such basic info. And like people are so focused on sun sign astrology that like they don't understand that your rising sign is your most personal placement because that's
Mm.
dictated by the hour you're born. It is the most personal placement that you have. So when it comes to making unique content, having a unique brand, showing up in a very unique way,
Mhm.
rising sign is a good place to start at.
Wow.
So for the reason why I bring up the ruler of the rising sign is because Mercury, the planet of communication and thinking and analyzing, is actually the ruler of your whole chart. So I think your whole life probably has this umbrella lens of communicating, being a really good communicator, being very analytic, approaching things, dissecting things, and discerning things and understanding what the details that make up the whole.
Hmm.
Does that sound, does that
Yes.
resonate?
Yes. I'm very analytical. I'll be like, oh, let's look at this and let's look how this would, like with not everything, but a lot of things. Yeah. I like to dissect and I like to go deep and I like to unpack.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what Mercury does. But then in all of our charts, Mercury takes a more specific flavor depending on which sign it is in. Astrology is just language, it's just a puzzle. Like you put the puzzle pieces together and you get something. So for you, Mercury is in Leo in the 12th house, which means that your brand voice, well, you're a Leo as well for your as your sun sign, in case people did not know. Um,
Now you know.
but Mercury as well, your brand voice, it is going to be very Leo-esque. So vibrant, bold, regal, royal, visible, also playful and fun.
Mm.
And then there's the other piece, which is the house placement. The houses represent the area of life. So there is the two pieces, the sign and the house. Is it still making sense?
Yes. I'm following. I'm like,
We're
yes.
good.
I'm just absorbing it all. I'm like,
The
keep
pieces
going.
are the pieces are clicking. And the house really gives us an environment and another piece to this puzzle of like, what's your brand voice plus the other, like, whatever planet we're talking about. So, when someone has their Mercury, which is the planet of communication and thinking, conceptualizing, in the 12th house, which is a very spiritual, ethereal house, I right away know that this person is probably very psychic. You can feel into things that you cannot see. It is very tapped into the unconscious realm and the ethereal realm and the unseen realm. So that's why for your brand voice and also brand pillars, I like to think of Mercury also as like the actual content and brand pillars of what you talk about. It
Yeah.
does make so much sense to talk about the things that we cannot see, manifestation principles, spirituality, consciousness. It can also be things like conclusion, letting go, connection to source,
Hmm.
psychic gifts, like very extremely ethereal kind of essence to this Mercury. So I'm curious now that you've heard that, like, do you feel like you've tapped into this part of yourself?
Yes. I love this so much. Yes. And it's interesting because I have always been spiritual. I've always been a little psychic in my dreams. And so
Just a little.
just a little. And so it's interesting because, when I like first started out as a yoga teacher, I was very into spirituality. And then I have this gift, which I think many of you may know, that when I have a conversation with you, I can hear what your unconscious mind is saying. And I can hear your unconscious programming. But like that is very hard to explain. It's not, but I can, like you said, I can hear what can't be seen. I can
I
hear
totally
it.
get you.
I can
I
hear it
can
all.
totally. That's such a Mercury in the 12th house. So, like, then I can imagine, like, let's say in the beginning of your business, if you had any resistance to talking about these things of like the
Yes.
unconscious or like psychic matters or unconscious reprogramming, like if
Yes.
you had any resistance, it could have felt like, oh, people are going to think I'm crazy. However, probably when you started talking about it, it just clicked and you were like, no, this is the thing. This is it for me.
Yes. Yes. It's funny. Like, this is a part of my story. When I was a yoga teacher, I would walk around the room teaching yoga and I would hear like people's unconscious beliefs. And I would hear like self-doubt, unworthy, not enough. And I was like, I want to speak to this. But like, what is happening? So, yes, I held back on that for quite a long time.
Okay, can I give you, I'm gonna give you a few content ideas based on this. Like literally what you just said. Like you could make a video of you like being in a cafe or just sitting wherever, and then you would just see these like bubbles popping up like insecure, self-doubt. And then the hook could be something like um um three signs you know you're psychic or three whatever, because I think also there are a lot of people out there with this exact same experience and they have no clue what's going on, how to regulate it, how to utilize it, how to sort of like contain it in a way. Because my own psychic gifts, it's also funny, I'm also a yoga teacher, so like what a surprise. We've all been through the same journey. um I can imagine that there are a lot of very intuitive people out there, and they just do not know um, how to channel and contain and regulate this gift. Like I was just fully
Yes.
open at all times, and then I would feel so like energy hung over after,
Hmm.
like, let's say after teaching a yoga class.
Yes.
Did this ever happen to you? Like I would feel like I'm on drugs because I had taken in everything. I was like,
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's so wild. I love this. Look at you just pulling out content ideas. I love it. Um, yes. And once I started talking about it, it it felt weird to talk about because again, it was like, is anyone gonna get this? Is anyone gonna know what I'm trying to say? Because it's quote unquote hard to put into words, but really it's not hard to put into words. That was just a story keeping me safe in my comfort zone.
yeah, and also, may I just give you another like a money-making idea, because that's also one of my gifts of giving, like, hey, I think this is what people would love to pay you for, is that there are a lot of people out there who have these intuitive gifts and psychic gifts and these powers, and they don't they don't understand how to manage them and use them in a productive way. It just kind of consumes them and they think that there's something wrong with them. And
Yes.
you seem like a person who is actually very grounded in their psychic gifts.
Hmm.
So I think you could so well teach other people how to learn to manage your psychic abilities and powers and sort of your intuition to the unseen realm and the unconscious. I mean, that's what you do. Like a lot about a lot about your work is about that,
Hmm.
is about the unconscious. However, I think you don't even understand how big of a superpower it is because it comes so naturally to you.
Correct. Yes. Okay. A, love this. Thank you, guys. Coming soon. B, maybe in 2025. Um, I love that you said that because I have had, and I'm sharing this like openly and vulnerably and transparently so that people listening can be like, oh my God, when you have something that comes so naturally to you, you don't see it. And then you're like, oh, it's, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And I think that we think that we have to work so hard at our soul purpose and we have to try so hard to like be gifted in our wisdom and we don't. It's actually the thing that you're like, what? This is no big deal. I don't understand how you don't see this. It's like, well, yeah, exactly what you just said. That's your superpower. So thank you for saying.
Yeah, it's so stupidly natural that we think we
Yes.
have to reinvent the wheel or come up with
Mhm.
like that's I was trying way too hard in the beginning of my business and I didn't realize the actual money maker is the thing that comes to me so naturally that I kind of
Yep.
feel stupid asking for money, which is why I give a lot of it for free because it's so
Yeah.
natural and then eventually people come to you and they're like, hey, I would love to pay you for this. That
Mhm.
is the most natural exchange.
Yeah.
And that's why I love astrology because then I can easily pinpoint, like, hey, let's say, like you, for example, you have your sun in Leo in the 11th house. So, as a Leo sun, you're a natural, heart-led leader kind of figure, very warm, very sort of like a cheerleader. Like you just see everyone's you-ness and their it factor. Like I love that about Leos. They're so warm. Sometimes
Yeah.
they get like this bitchy, like arrogant rep, but I'm like,
Yes, they
but
do.
is it, are you insecure or is she arrogant? Like which one is it? Like
Right. Right. God, I love that
which one is it?
perspective shift.
I'm sorry. I'm a Scorpio rising. Maybe I shouldn't apologize, but I'll just
No,
like
no, we don't
in
apologize
any
here. We
case,
say it like it
okay,
is.
that's just how it is. It's all about other people's projections. In any case, you're a sun in Leo in the 11th house. So your superpowers are recognizing other people's you-ness and being this warm-hearted leader. And then when the sun is in the 11th house, that gives you an extra gift in the 11th house themes, which are um, future vision, technology,
Mm.
networks, community. So, for example, if you didn't have a group program right now, I would be like, have you ever thought about hosting a group program? Because
Yeah.
I think your zone of genius is really in being in a group and a community environment, maybe even like masterminds or really just like having other people's I know you're also a projector. So as
Mhm.
projectors, you guys just see so much. So you
Yes.
can get a lot of your like inspiration and that source information just by with being with people. But
Hmm.
then also there's another piece. I'm going to go a little bit deeper as well. One of my favorite placements that I love to talk about with people, and it always resonates so much, is Chiron. You also have Chiron in the 11th house. So Chiron is the wounded healer where we carry a lot of sore wounds and a lot of trauma. It can be a trauma with big T or small t. Everyone has trauma. Like
Hmm.
that's just, you cannot go through life without
True.
any kind of trauma.
Yes.
So if I would say to you, hypothetically, if I would say to you, have you ever thought about a group program? I could understand that you could have a lot of resistance towards it because as a Chiron in the 11th house, you might feel kind of like an alien, kind of like you don't know where you belong in this world. Like maybe also when you were younger, you really did not understand like what's my clique, what are my friend groups, like where do I belong, like who are my people. So when we carry these stories also as entrepreneurs, it can escalate to these weird beliefs of like, oh my gosh, no one's going to sign up for my group thing, or
Yes.
like, no one's going to want to take my mastermind, and so on. When in fact, your actual zone of genius is in groups and community. Does it make
Mm.
sense?
Yes. Yes. I love this because so in the past, I tried, quote unquote, to do group programs and like they either didn't happen. It was like, I don't know, they were short because I was like, I don't know if I can do group programs. And so finally, after years, I now have my mastermind, Manifest that Shit University, which is the best fucking thing ever. And like the community inside, the group aspect is everything. And I don't want to say got over myself, but basically I got over myself and created that. And that's like the best part of my business, like the most potent, powerful, transformative part. So shameless plug-in if you're not inside MTSU, girl, get in.
And you know why? Also, this goes so deep with the Chiron, like everything with me. I'm like, it's so deep. Oh my gosh, it's
So deep.
classic Pisces. It's like it's so deep. But with the Chiron is like when if you've felt rejected, if you felt like an
Yeah.
outsider, if you have felt misunderstood, you will grow to be the best possible group facilitator and a community host because you understand the people who feel misunderstood and you
Mhm.
understand the people who have felt like they're left out. So you can really, like, let's say you're hosting a mastermind and there's one person who doesn't necessarily talk that much, but you just feel that they have so much potential in them.
Yeah.
You know how to nurture them in a gentle way so that you can pull them out of the background, out of being a wallflower and start to foster and nurture their gifts. Because also you have lots of Cancer placements. So I know you have that nurture within you. But that's really the gift of the journey of Chiron. I thought we would only talk about like a Mercury brand voice, but honestly, like Chiron is such a gift.
Mm.
Understanding your wounds, accepting like, hey, okay, here is where I feel a ton of resistance. This is where
Mhm.
I feel hurt. This is where I feel butt hurt. This is where I
Yes.
feel like sore and I just don't want to go there. I'm gonna say go there. That's where you
Mm.
need to go.
Wow. Okay. So I never knew that about Chiron. I never actually, what you just said, knew that about myself. And that makes so much sense. Like, so much sense. And it's true. Facilitating groups now, which I had like so much resistance to, it was unbelievable. But facilitating groups now, I'm like, oh my God, this is just like so natural and it's so like loving and supportive, right? Like it's right. Like this is what I meant to do. And I feel that I've arrived there. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's
Love
been a
that.
journey.
Oh yeah.
Like some placements are like less of a less of a journey in a
Hmm.
way that there's less resistance. Some placements like Chiron, or if you have a placement in a detriment, which is very technical astrology, you can have so much resistance and a lot of stories around it.
Yeah.
But let's say like you're a sun in Leo, the sun is at home in Leo. So that's a placement where you have a lot less resistance in.
Hmm.
So it's good to recognize these aspects of our being, these pockets of our being where we have so much resistance around and just ask the question like why? Or like what if I did not have all this resistance around it? Because
Yeah.
that's usually where the gift is.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, Chiron has been my little resistance bitch for like years. And now we love her.
Trust me, for all of us. It's yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So Mercury, look at your Chiron, everyone. Um,
Hmm.
what what was the one? I feel like you said something about Jupiter before, and I'm like, what about Jupiter?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna tell a little story about like how I feel like I cracked the code recently.
Please.
When I think for a long time, for months, I have been really committed to making consistent content and like I wanted more views, I wanted more reach.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what's the code? What is the secret? And I feel like I just could not crack it. I was stuck in the 200, 300, 500 view jail.
Mm-hmm.
And then, first of all, I asked myself the questions that I presented in the beginning of our conversation. Like,
Yeah.
first, dig deep. What are you really looking to get out of getting more views and reach and engagement and so on? I got my head out of my ass and looked at that part of
Yes.
making content. And then I started to commit to making better content.
Okay.
Like it's just so simple. And then I also realized like, okay, your if your natal Jupiter is activated, that will blow up your content. So what I mean by this is when my first reel started going viral like a month ago, and I was like, holy crap, like how is this happening? I need to look at my astrology, like what's going on? Of course,
Yeah.
I look at the chart first thing. And I realized that I had a lot of Jupiter transits going on. So I had, I think, Sun and Venus and Mercury all breezed over my Jupiter, which happens once a year for everyone. This
Mm,
does not mean that you can only go viral once a year, but now after having gone viral, I think 2 or 3 times, I noticed that once you go viral, there's no going back.
yes.
Once it happens, it's kind of like the gate has opened and Instagram sees your content differently.
Yep.
So what I noticed is that Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion and freedom, it's also the planet of teaching and wisdom and kind of being the eternal student and then becoming the teacher because you've just learned so much this this quest for the meaning of life. Like Jupiter, it's a very supportive, expansive, wonderful vibe,
Hmm.
and whatever Jupiter touches, it expands it. So if you have Jupiter transiting one of your natal placements, or if you have a transit going over your own natal Jupiter, that can really blow things up. And how you know that it's kind of like Jupiter transit season for you is that you can go look up your birth chart. You can go, I like AstroSeek because it's very clear, but I
Yeah.
personally use astro.com for all of my charts. But AstroSeek is really good because you can get like transits on a list, like
Mm,
when are planets transiting your own planets. So
okay.
our own natal chart never changes. That's like the map of the sky when you were born.
Hmm.
But then the planets obviously move around in the sky right now. So they activate our own blueprint in different ways, our own energy in different
Mm,
ways, in different seasons and phases of our lives. So what I'm going to encourage everyone to do is look up your Jupiter. So, for example, you have Jupiter in Cancer in the 11th house. It's actually very close to your sun, which this gives you a very much of an unfair advantage in business and life, is that as a person, you are extremely magnetic and attractive and easy to approach, probably very optimistic and have a lot of faith and trust in life. Like you dare to take leaps because you know that there is like this invisible safety net that will always catch you. Like, well, what's the worst that can happen?
why
You're
not?
like, I can imagine as a as a person, you're probably extremely optimistic and you also spot opportunities well. That's the vibe of Jupiter. And if you have Jupiter very close to like, let's say sun or moon or rising, you will automatically exude that expansive and optimistic, very faithful kind of um also expansive. I don't know if I said that, a very
Mhm.
expansive kind of frequency.
Yes.
So you have Jupiter in Cancer in the 11th house. So just for your own energetic blueprint, Cancer energy, 11th house energy, those are very expansive themes for you.
Ooh.
And we already kind of went over those because I should have probably said this in the beginning. You have a nice cluster of things in the 11th house. When I look at a chart, a good kind of cluster.
Ooh.
Whenever I look at a chart, my eyes are right away drawn to if there's like a lot of placements in a certain spot.
Mhm.
So if I'm really looking for a person's zone of genius or unfair advantage or the it factor in business, I'm gonna look at like, okay, is there a lot of planets in a certain house? You have a lot of planets. One, two, three, four. Well, Chiron is not a planet, but it counts.
Mhm.
Um, you have 4 planets, which we would consider a stellium. 3 or more planets is a stellium, which is quite significant. you have four planets in the 11th house. So I would consider like, okay, this is a part of your zone of genius. So any kind of 11th house themes, community, technology, future vision, hopes, wishes, dreams, those are your zones of genius. Like that's where you are energized and where your talents will shine the most. So because Jupiter is also there, and Jupiter is a great expander in our charts, I always tell people like, hey, look into your Jupiter if you want to, let's say, create a course or some sort of an online offer, because Jupiter, first of all, rules teaching, guides, and mentors, educators. So it makes sense to look at Jupiter when we want to teach things to other people. But it's also a very effortless frequency to lean into because it's so expansive. Like if you know your Jupiter themes, you can lean into those, create things along the themes of your Jupiter, and it
Yeah.
will give you these opportunities that you couldn't have even imagined these opportunities. So
Mhm.
for you, there's that big cluster of things in the 11th house plus your Jupiter. And then you also know because your Jupiter is in Cancer, the Cancerian themes are also the ones that give you a lot of opportunities and expansion and growth in business. So Cancerian themes, well, first of all, the Cancer is the divine mother archetype in astrology. So you're probably a very nurturing person, giving person, caring person, warm, easy to talk to. Like it's not like an off-putting vibe at
No.
all. Like people can feel like they just want to approach you because it seems like you're very warm and understanding and you know how to listen and care for other people.
Mhm.
And when we translate this to business, I've noticed if someone has a lot of Cancer placements, they're probably amazing at facilitating any kind of transformation that requires a lot of stability for let's say holding people when they go into their trauma or deep
Yes.
emotions or some sort of rewiring or reprogramming. A
Mhm.
Cancer energy, very warm, very comforting, very understanding, very nurturing and stabilizing. So I could imagine that, let's say one of your clients is going really deep with an issue related to money or whatever, and we go into some past trauma, you're just going to be there, listening, understanding, empathizing, asking the right questions, and creating them this stability that they might not have on their own already in their body that's needed for the transformation. I
Yes.
love Cancerians for any kind of like somatic work. Like all my favorite somatic healers are Cancers. Maybe it's something in my
Mm.
chart.
Very cool. Wow. Okay. No, this is all making sense. See, I didn't really know that about the Cancerian energy. And I don't know anything about Jupiter, so now I do.
Oh yeah, that last part of like how to look at the transits is when you know which sign your Jupiter is in.
Hmm.
So like for you, it's Cancer. Then you know Cancer season, which is end of June to end of July.
Hmm.
That's going to be when your Jupiter is activated. So that's probably going to feel quite expansive for you. That's going to feel like opportunistic for you. Like, oh wow, new opportunities coming in. Like I feel energized. I feel vitalized. I feel like teaching. I feel like showing up. So
Yes.
then you know, for example, when it's Cancer season, all of the planets will go over except for the outer planets. So all of the inner planets, they will go over your Jupiter and activate it. So
Wow.
that's a highly fruitful time for your content to blow up.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes. All right. I'm like,
And
okay, I can't wait.
something even more interesting that happened to one of my clients, she started reaching like millions of people out of nowhere. She was in
Mm.
her Jupiter return that happens every 12 years when Jupiter returns to the exact same spot where it was in when you were born. So
Wow.
that happens every 12 years. You're going to have that next year because Jupiter is in Gemini right now, and next year it's going to be in Cancer. So you are going to have your Jupiter return a beautiful, expansive, wonderful time, probably going to come with lots of new opportunities. Anyone listening, you can think like what happened when you were 24? What happened when you were, if you remember, 12? What happened when you were 36 and 48 and so on every 12
Yes.
years? And that's always your Jupiter return.
Wow. Oh my God, that's so cool. I have to like think about what I was doing when I was 24. Cool. I don't
Do
even
we
remember.
remember?
I have no fucking idea. No, I do, but my memory works with visuals, so I have to look at a picture and then it'll come back. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so next year, Jupiter return. Guys, get ready.
Get ready. I mean, you could easily blow up. However, like I say in that one reel, like your content is not going to blow up if it sucks.
Yes.
If it doesn't resonate with people, like it needs to resonate with people on some level. And sometimes people think, especially in this online business coaching space, they think you only go viral if you've made millions of dollars because that you need to have
Yep.
something to show for. But that is not the case.
No.
You can go viral if you have anything sort of significant or remarkable to show for. And that can be humor, that can be your
Mhm.
thoughts. Quotes go viral all the time, prompts, all kinds of
True.
whatever thoughts, just thoughts go journal. It can be a result you achieved, like monetary or life-wise, lifestyle-wise. However, it does have to be significant in a way, and
Mhm.
humor can be significant. Like someone can have, as a Leo, you have a significant sense of humor. Like
Mhm.
Leos are so fun and playful. So I want people to just understand that you don't have to be some sort of millionaire in a mansion with a Lamborghini, and that's only how you can go viral if you have something to
Yes.
show for it. Like, no, your sense of humor can be the key to going viral.
I like that. That feels good. You're right, because a lot of people think like, "Oh, I'm not good enough to go viral. I don't have what it takes. I don't have the things." It's like you don't fucking need anything. You just need yourself. Oh, that's like a
It's not
huge
that
permission
complicated.
slip. Yeah, it's not complicated. Ooh, perfect. All right. Everyone's gonna go viral. Is there anything else besides Mercury, Jupiter, telling us about Chiron, anything else that we need to know about for our chart to make us blow up? I mean, obviously everything, because like you said, everything matters. Anything else that you want to share with us?
Yeah, everything matters. For now, I want you to get focused, because the thing is that people get too distracted. They don't stick to a strategy because it doesn't work. Like they post once and then you get
Yes.
200 views and then you're like, "Oh, this thing is not working." So what I'm going to invite you to do is get focused, even if it sucks for a while, if even if it means that you're just going to have to embarrass yourself for a while.
Mhm.
So I'm going to invite you to get focused. Like let's say isolate Mercury out of your chart. Research the themes of your Mercury sign and your Mercury house and really understand like what do these themes mean for me? How do I want to showcase these themes and these pillars in my content? And what parts of myself do I feel like I am restricting or not allowing to be seen? Because ultimately, if you want, so the purpose of going viral obviously is to get traffic to your business. Like I guess there are people who just want to go viral for the sake of viral, but for
Yeah.
us as business owners, it is to bring traffic to our business, right?
Yes.
So essentially, where was I going with this? Essentially, if you want more clients, more traffic to your business, the ultimate key to that is to, instead of asking the question of how do I get my dream clients to see me? How do I get my ideal clients to see me? The real question is, are you really seeing yourself
Mm,
as the magnificent, brilliant being, human you are? It's not
yes.
about, are you seeing me? How do I get people to see me? It is truly about like, are you seeing you and what parts of yourself are you not allowing to be seen. And I think as a Leo, this is also a big theme because a huge life the theme, life journey theme for Leos is to be seen, the
Yes.
desire to be seen. Just like children, if you think of children, they're just like, look at me. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. My 4-year-old all the time, she's like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Like
Yes.
they are unapologetic about it.
Hmm.
So as a Leo, it can go two ways. The shadow expression is looking for external validation, which would be, I need more views, I need people to see me. And then
Mm.
the high expression, the light expression is, I've seen myself. I have nothing to prove. This is who I am. This is my sense of humor. These
Yes.
are my thoughts. Say, oh shit, take it or leave it.
Yes.
Everything's collapsing.
Oh, that speaks to me on such like a Leo level and a projector level, right? Instead of,
Mm,
and this weaves into work that I teach too, like on a frequency. It's we're not waiting for others to see us. Otherwise, we're just going to be in the waiting energy. When you see yourself and validate yourself, and like you said, have nothing to prove, oof, that is where everything changes and blows up. Mm.
yeah. And then you don't really have to try anymore.
Yes. Yes. Just becomes normal and natural. Oh God, that is so fucking good. Okay, so this was amazing. The one question I ask all of my guests is what makes you feel like a badass babe?
Ah, oh my gosh. Do I have to answer in one sentence or one
No,
word?
you can word
I'm not
vomit.
good. Okay. I think it is my story and all the trials and errors and tribulations I had to go through to be at this point
Hmm.
because that's all I have. I only have my experience, my story, my lessons. Also, as a business owner, yes, I can study astrology as much as I want, but truly, what makes me genius in my work is that I have had the experiences that I've had in life. It has not been an easy ride, but it gives me that chip on my shoulder and an ability to see everyone as a human, as the perfect individual as they are. Also, such a Pisces thing, I feel like.
Oh, I love it. Mm, yes, beautiful. This was so amazing. Thank you so much. Your expertise, just what we needed. Everyone is taking notes. Everyone's going to pull up their chart. I can't even wait to hear how everyone blows up and goes viral. And then tell us
Tell
where we
us.
can tell us, tell us where we can find you and come into your world.
Yes, so come find me. There's only one way to find me, which is on Instagram right now, jennamaria.co. And I make a lot of content on the topics of business, content, astrology, all the fun things. So if you enjoyed this, you will love my content.
Yes.
I also have a community, a membership on School, which we go even deeper. Like if this resonated, what we do there, you get like individualized guidance. That I love it. I have to say as well, like someone with a Chiron in the 11th house. I see you, I recognize you because I also have a Chiron in the 11th house, and
Mm,
starting a community kind of thing was a big resistance for me. Or
yeah.
there was so much like resistance and stories and stickiness around it. But when I finally did it and started a community, a membership, like that's truly where I shine. And I also think like thinking about the future, community is currency.
Mhm.
Community is currency in this day and age. So,
Yes.
yeah, if you enjoyed this, you will enjoy my content and the community as well.
Oh, yes. I know. I'm like, ooh, I want to join your community and membership. Ooh, I love
There's a
it.
7-day free trial, so there's no reason to not join.
Yeah, come on now. All right. I'll be putting that in the show notes so all of us, including myself, can join. Thank you so much for your magic, for your wisdom, your expertise. This was pure gold.
It was all my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God. Yes. I loved this so much. That was so much freaking fun. If you love this episode as much as I did, please take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram at @the_badassbabe so I can share and celebrate you. And I have a special gratitude gift for you. If you're feeling called, please give us a 5-star rating and write your review on Apple Podcasts. Take a screenshot, submit it. Let me know and I'll send you instant access to my Fuck Yes Money hypnosis as a thank you. And I'll see you in the next episode.